Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Change of scenery. We got a very special video today. This is my first book gift unboxing. I got a giant, and I mean giant, box of books from the long-time channel supporter, subscriber, first channel member, Stan Brown. Shout out to you, my friend. And I wanted to show you what he generously sent me alongside some other books that I have recently picked up. This will be a book haul for the ages, and let's just crack right into it. I think we have like 15 books to talk about. But before we do, the channel has been popping as of recently. My most charming books ever video has now become my most popular video on this channel, which is insane. If you guys are new here from that video, I really appreciate you being here. If you are new here, consider subscribing. We're closing in on 3,000 subscribers, which is just ridiculous. Thank you guys. These videos are always so much fun to make. Now, let's talk books. Like I said, I got a giant package from the friend Stan. He sent a little note alongside with it. I will not read it for privacy purposes, but he does include notes on the books that he sent for what reasons. So I will have it as my little guide here, and let's just jump right into it. I did already pre-open the books and sort through them, and then now I have ordered them in the order of the letter. Very well packaged. You did a good job. Bubble wrap and wrapping paper galore. We'll start off with these first three here. First one on the list, a Gail Goodwin novel, The Southern Family. Now, this one immediately calls back to The Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. It says, I think you will like this since you enjoy family chronicles. That I do, especially Southern family dramas. This one being called The Southern Family. Very much excited to sink my teeth into that one. And he said on a similar note, he included this one here, The Keepers of the House by Shirley Ann Grau. Similar family drama. And both of these I've not heard of yet, so shout out to you. Again, I love me some family dramas, and these are two new ones. Next up on the list, he says, a look at the contemporary South with a chilling story. With my first sort of murder mystery, not even horror book, but so to speak, being Agatha Christie, and Then There Were None. I'm looking to expand that, and he has provided me with the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. So book club is in the name, it has to be good. Again, know nothing about this book, but very thoughtful recommendations, and we will see what this one is about. I love this cover here, very Georgia-esque, Georgia peach. Some like bullet holes in the peaches, perhaps. Here, we'll create a little tally of books so we can see there. Next up, there are so many books in this box, so grab a snack. These are, we're not even halfway. Two light, quick, pure kids books. First one here is Running Out of Time. The second one is Mirror of Danger. So, running out of time, and maybe I should have read the back of each of these books, but we'll continue to do so. It says, Clifton, Indiana, 1840. Jessie Kaiser lives with her family in a small log cabin. Her father is a blacksmith, and her mother cares for her and her siblings. Though at night, Jessie's mother also secretly tends to everyone who is getting sick in their village. One night, she tells Jessie that there's a diphtheria outbreak, a dangerous disease, and if they don't act soon, some of those sick children could die. Then Jessie's mother tells her that only Jessie can help by leaving Clifton, but Jessie's mother also reveals a shocking truth about what, where, and when Clifton is. Jessie will have to escape and survive a totally strange world because she and her friends are all running out of time. Roll credits. This one seems pretty interesting. Very light sort of read. Always good to have some of these on stock for, I like to call them popcorn books. You finish, I can imagine this book here, Southern Family, will probably leave me weeping. So Running Out of Time could be the one to get me back on my feet and prevent a slump. And then similarly, Mirror of Danger. He says, you like to give her so much, I thought you would enjoy these. This book is about, well, let's just see what it's about. It says, the mirror looked ordinary. It was a heavy gold frame and leaned against the wall in the attic. But when Lucy first looked at the mirror, a strange thing happened. Another girl's face appeared beside hers, laughing. Whirling around in surprise and alarm, Lucy saw a girl wearing a long dress, a pinafore, and a sly, triumphant look on her face. Also, the attic had disappeared and another room had taken place, a room that belonged to the past. So there we go, a classic sort of mystery thriller book, page turner, so to speak. I love these little vintage mass market books. Yellowed pages, you know it's a good one. And that is Mirror of Danger. Alrighty, he says, since you enjoyed books about bookshops so much that it tends to be a common theme and some of my favorite books, some of my most charming books. Recently read a book called The Bookshop, which was great. Check that one out. And this book was probably the most recommended book on my most popular video, my most charming books I have ever read. This is 84 Charing Cross Road. So many of you have recommended this book in that video, and I reply to all of you saying, great recommendation, I'll have to add it to my list. And here it is now, live and in person in my hand. Apparently this is a very charming book. It does seem that way. I love these little small pocket book sizes as well. Take it on the go with me. This could actually probably fit in my pocket. So yeah, 84 Charing Cross Road, finally have it in my hands. Shout out to Stan. And he says, another bookshop book he sent my way is this one, The Education of Harriet Hatfield by May Sarton. This one has some little vintage cover. I like the way these two are, both of these May Sarton books. It says, Harriet Hatfield begins a new life at the age of 60 after her lover of 30 years has died and left her comfortably well off. But when Harriet opens a bookstore for women in a blue-collar neighborhood of Boston, she is viciously attacked for her lesbianism. Miss Sarton's powerful portrayal of the shy, reserved woman's battle becomes a moving statement about the place of an outsider in our world and the necessity of following the human heart. Pulling out the heartstrings already, Stan. I really appreciate it. This one sounds very good. Maybe more than what meets the eye for a typical like cozy bookshop read. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to learn a little lesson when it comes to reading books. This one will do just that. And the next book by May Sarton, he says, When in Rome. He sent me two May Sarton books. Faithful Are the Wounds. It says, not set in a bookshop, but a great novel. A powerful dramatization of the plight of the embattled American liberals in the 1950s. This novel is set in the academic world of Harvard and Cambridge, and its central character is Edward Cavan, an English professor, an unquestioned genius who commits suicide. Dun dun dun. Yes, definitely seems very sort of, this one could be a little bit twisty, turny, lots of lessons learned in this one. And again, I love this like vintage cover of both of these. I think these are so cool. And those were the next two. Guys, we're not even, you don't even understand the half of it yet. We're still going. Another 3 books here. Classic detective novel, The Daughter of Time. That is this one by Josephine Tay. It says, Inspector Alan Grant of Scotland Yard, recuperating from a broken leg, becomes fascinated with a contemporary portrait of Richard III that bears no resemblance to the wicked uncle of history. Could such a sensitive, noble face actually belong to one of the world's most heinous villains, a venomous hunchback who may have killed his brother's children to secure his crown? Or could Richard have been the victim turned into a monster by the Tudor dynasty? Grant determines to find out once and for all with the help of the British Museum and an American scholar what kind of man Richard Plantagenet really was and who killed the little princess in the tower. There's some art history thrown into this one. I love art history. I went to the Louvre in high school over in Paris, and I still think about that experience, you know, even a decade later. So a murder mystery to do with art. My fiance is an artist, so this one could be up both of our alleys. I may have to read this one before she steals it. The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tay. That was next up. And then some light, quick, fun reads, he has The Prisoner of Zenda. The Battle of Wills, He Who Dares Wins. With his distinctive red hair and sharp nose, Rudolph Rassendyll, a young Englishman, shares a striking resemblance to the Ruitarian royal family. A burning curiosity draws him to Ruitaria to see a coronation of the new king, his distant cousin. But when the king is captured by his treacherous brother on the eve of the coronation, only Rudolph can save him. He says both of these last two are just some good sword play, swashbuckling. There's a genre for it, sword and shield or something. I think is like the typical, what they're called, but again, popcorn books, little small pocket books. I love these. I've grown to love mass market paperback books. I used to despise them before I even read them. And then my first read of a mass market paperback book, The Hobbit, was one of the first books I read in one day continuous. Sorry, a little side tangent. And since then, I love mass market paperbacks. So this one fits the bill. This next one here, a Penguin classic. You're speaking my language there, Stan the Man. This is Captain Blood by Raphael Sabatini. Get a good look at that cover here. It says, Peter Blood is a physician who becomes a pirate, not for infamy and riches, but out of a rankling sense of injustice, barely escaping the gallows after his arrest for treating a wounded rebel fighting the oppressive King James. Blood is unjustly transported to the Barbados plantation. Upon his escape, no ship sailing the Spanish Main is safe from Blood and his companions. Abounding with adventure, color, romance, and strong social commentary on the evils of slavery and the dangers of intolerance, this classic adventure is a story about how oppression drives men to desperate actions, how fate plays a hand in everyone's lives, and how love is ultimately the greatest power of all. Come on, enough said, mic drop. This book sounds fascinating. I'm surprised I've never heard of it. An adventure tale that teaches a lesson. Some pretty sweet artwork on the front too. Get a little of that guy. That guy is aura farming, as the kids say these days. That is Captain Blood. And two left here. He didn't leave a note on these, but these two last here. Another classic, the Oxford World Classic, The Last of the Mohicans. I've heard things about this. I don't really know a whole lot about it. It's set against the wild landscapes of North America. At the novel's center is a celebrated massacre of British troops and their families by Indian allies of the French in 1757. Around this historical event, Cooper builds a romantic fiction of captivity, sexuality, and heroism in which the destiny of the Mohican Chingachgook and his son Uncas is inseparable from the lives of Alice and Cora Munro and of the Hawkeye of the Frontier Scout. Sounds interesting. Again, this book is a classic for a reason. Now I have a copy of it on my shelves. And an Oxford World Classics copy, no less. These are, alongside the Penguin Classics, some of the best out there. Last one here. This one seems wholly up my alley too. This is Jim the Boy. It's hardcover, so let's see what it says. It says, as the sun begins to set, Jim and the uncles watch the last yellow light of day slide up the mountain toward the bald, dragging evening behind it. When the light went out of their faces, they turned and watched it retreat up the peak, or at the summit of the single tree flared defiantly before the dark. A chilly breeze whipped from nowhere across the bald and flapped the legs of Jim's overalls. He turned with the uncles for a last look at the view before heading down the mountain. All but the brightest greens had drained out of the world, leaving in their stead an array of somber blues. The low fog had begun to seep out between the trees along Painter Creek. Jim jumped down from the rock and began to look toward home. Maybe that was just an excerpt from the book. It says, a sweet, graceful novel that charms the reader with marvelous language, honest emotion, and authentic characters who are no less human, no less complex for being sincere and straightforward and good. Yes, I think we could very much agree that from that little excerpt at the beginning here, very much a well-written book. It says, Tom Early now gives us a luminant portrait of a 10-year-old boy growing up in the Depression-era town of Aliceville, North Carolina. Again, maybe some family drama, beautiful writing. This might be my favorite book of all time. We will just have to see. That is Jim the Boy by Tony Early. And that was all that Stan the Man sent me. Get a load of this. This is quite the stack. Again, quite the box, and it was well packaged. I will try not to dox myself here. But I did pick up 2 other books. When I went to Half Price Books just the other day, I walked away with these 2 bad boys. My next Agatha Christie novel, I like to golf, so I picked up Murder on the Links. I don't know, I think this Hercule Poirot is a series. Again, sorry, I don't know anything about Agatha Christie books. I've only read And Then There Were None, and I loved it so much I had to pick up another one. I like golf. This cover was not the worst thing I'd ever seen. And so I picked it up. Enough said. Next up, similar vein, E.T. E.T. the Extraterrestrial in His Adventure on Earth. I've seen this movie many, many times. It's a family favorite. I didn't even know it was a book. And so again, mass market paperback, a classic copy, classic cover. I had to buy it. And that is today's book haul. Let's see the final count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on the money. I think I guessed that at the beginning of this video, and 15 books it is. I think all of these sound like hits up my, I feel like all of these books I would have bought on my own if I had seen them and had taken the time to learn about them and read them. Also, we are accompanied by my raccoon reading a book shirt. Shout out my fiance one time for getting me this. And we will call this book hauled. Yeah, let me know down below, have you read any of these books? Most of these I haven't heard of. And most of them, and all the ones that I haven't heard of, I'm more excited about the ones than I have heard of. Like these 2, you can take them or leave them. But all of these, right up my alley. I love a good family drama. I just love a good book. I hope you love a good book. Let me know, what are you reading right now? Comment down below. What book have you most recently purchased or acquired? We can have a book haul in the comments, so to speak. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Like I said at the beginning, if you are new here from my most recent or most popular video, I would appreciate it if you stuck around, hit that subscribe button. It does mean a lot. We're closing in on 3,000 book lovers here, so I would really appreciate it if you help us reach that goal. It is really an us thing. It's a community. I love building this community alongside all of y'all. It would be amazing. But like I said, do that. Leave a like if you liked it so readers around the world can maybe find their next favorite read in this book haul. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you're reading a great book. And we will catch you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out, guys.